You ever met Jeff from Muddy Feet?
Jeff Tucker, Muddy Feet Concrete Pump.
I know the name, but I hadn't really met before.
He's my YouTube inspiration. We came to get the iONTRON tour. Eric Duker Can Crate. That's our Canadian Putzmeister dealer. Eric's going to give us the full meal deal tour on, was this the first ever electric line pump in our market?
They built two, yeah, they built two at the exact same time. So this is one of the twins. The other one's in the United Kingdom, I think.
Okay.
Somewhere over in Europe. So, so we took a European spec 1005, which is almost exactly the same as what we get in North America. There's no accumulator on this one. It's kind of neat how they work. And then the hydraulic flat pack, the hopper, the frame, all of that is just our standard North American TK1000 spec. And from there, we had to figure out how to get rid of the diesel engine and the pumps that were bolted to it and make it so that we had electric batteries and electric motors to run everything. So, so the heart of the systems, the two battery packs that are here, these are all Deutz battery packs. So if you're familiar with the engine manufacturer, the writing's on the wall that in so many years or decades from now, engines might be a thing of the past or be a very small market, and all the engine manufacturers need to come up with different ideas. So, so two battery packs, 600 volts DC. There is a inverter, I believe it's this here, and there is a 12 volt booster battery up in the top there. We have it on a charger just for the show because we've got all the lights on the trailer. The 12 volt battery is what powers up the screen and allows everything to turn on. Now, I don't think we're allowed to do this. This isn't going to turn on because the disconnects are off. But in normal operation, you'd come up here, you'd turn the key to the on position, the screen would boot up, just like it would with a normal trailer pump. And it's all done off that 12 volt battery. That turns on the battery pack, turns on all the controls, and you clear your e-stop just like you would with a normal pump. You enable your agitator. When you turn on your agitator, electric motor number 1 turns on, which is buried way back in there with a tiny little hydraulic pump on it. So that is a single speed, small hydraulic motor, or hydraulic pump and motor combination. Whenever you're running your agitator or whenever you're running your outriggers or your water pump, that's the pump that does it. If you turn your agitator off, the machine's silent but on and sitting there waiting. If you turn the pump on, motor number 2, which is buried down in here, is a variable speed motor. It ranges from about 14 RPM to 2400 RPM. It's also a variable displacement pump, and it's automatically set by where you put the volume control on the pump. So just turn the pump on, that motor spools up, picks the right speed for the volume that you select, and then the cylinder starts stroking. If you left the hood closed, aside from the absence of the diesel engine noise, you probably wouldn't notice, or an untrained eye wouldn't be able to tell that it's an electric pump. It works the exact same as a diesel-powered concrete pump.
What about weight in comparison to a diesel engine-powered pump?
So compared to our 1005, I think we're a 3.6 liter diesel cat engine in that. This whole unit's about 1,000 pounds more. So we're just over that 7,000 pound mark that we could do a normal 1005 on a single axle. I think we're on tandem axles here because we need it because we're just over 7,000 pounds. You can still tow it with a typical half ton. They're all rated to tow it, and they tow well. They're balanced properly. So everyone knows a little bit bigger trucks, a little bit easier to use. So 2,500 to 5,500 trucks is what most of these get pulled around with.
And you guys have actually pumped concrete with this unit. It has been field tested.
Yeah. So there's a couple videos floating around right now. So
I'll insert a link for one of them up at the top of the screen. There is one on YouTube I was able to source.
Yeah. So this the hopper remains unpainted. So this is from all the wear and tear of what we put through it. I think we managed to get out to about 6 pump jobs over the span of a week and a half. The largest pump job was 78 cubic meters. We figured out that we're good for, at colder temperatures, we're good for about 85 cubic meters battery life. The nice thing about it is that with an electric car, your range is limited to whatever's in your batteries. We can charge and pump at the same time. And so if you go around the other side here, we've got a standard electric vehicle charger. So this is our charging port here. And this has an interlock on it, so you can't accidentally unplug it while current's flowing through it. This will glow green, and there's a green and red light here for your indicators, so that is a smart charging plug. We can charge off a normal household outlet. We can charge off of a normal 240 volt stove plug. We can charge off 3-phase 208 in either 30 amps or 60 amps.
And does it come with adapters for the various?
Yeah, and so it's your standard charger, and then we've got a standard end that goes to 3-phase. We were charging at 30 amps when we were using it. That was about a 3-hour charge time. We can do it in just under half that on 60 amps, so we're around an hour and a half from empty. And there is a separate little, they call it a juice booster. It's an inline controller, and it's got a couple of connections to get you to a household outlet or to a stove plug. That is an internally mounted water pump. So this is an option on all TK1000s. I can't open this side of the hood because it's locked. This is supposed to move like that. This motor is such that it's on a pump shaft connector, and that's to eliminate any torque. And so if you look inside at how all the bracketry is done, it's done that way just for longevity, and that allows you to feed from an external water source, whether that be a tote on the back of the truck or a tank, or you can hook a garden hose up to that, and then you've got similar water pressure to what you would have on a mobile boom pump for washing it.
And is that powered from the agitator circuit?
Yeah.
It is?
Yeah. So,
yeah, that's a slick setup.
Yeah, and that is an option on every TK1000.
It is?
Yeah. So it doesn't matter if you have an existing one with nothing there. We've added a couple of them as an option.
Ours doesn't have it right now because I think we, for whatever reason, this wasn't optional.
The option's new.
Yeah,
so,
yeah, it's a newer option.
Yep.
So in this, from what I understand, it can be charged while it's pumping too?
Yes.
That's correct?
Yep. And so if your batteries are completely dead, and you manage to find a 208 3-phase 60 amp outlet on a job site, which is possible if you're on a commercial job, you can still pump directly off being plugged in at the rate that your power supply will handle.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So and the idea being is that pumping tends to be, the duty cycle's fairly low, where you pump for a bit and you wait, you pump for a bit and you wait.
Yeah.
So even if you bring a 100-foot extension cord with you and you plug it into the house at whatever job you're at, you can probably get an additional 20 to 30 cubic meters of battery life over the course of a day by just being plugged into the house. So now you go from 85 cubic meters to 105 cubic meters of ability to pump during the day before needing a battery charge.
And that's a lot for a line pump. Like, Jeff, what's your average in a day? How many meters when you pump through your little line pump?
I'm not sure about meters, but
yards. sorry, from Texas. Sorry. Trick question.
It'll be mostly less than 20 yards, 10 to 20, somewhere right in that.
Yeah, we're the same. Our average for a unit like this is like
16 to 20 meters.
Two loads of concrete, maybe 2.5 max in a day. So that's plenty of juice. If the only option, or only available option, was standard 110 volt power source, what's the charge time on that?
I think it's about 24 hours.
Okay, to do a full charge on 110.
If it was right dead, you'd have to leave it plugged in for a day.
Okay, but that's absolute worst case scenario.
Yeah,
so there's a lot of options here. The chances or odds of being left, dead in the water per se with no charge or electricity is pretty darn slim. It sounds like.
And the battery meter is very accurate, so it goes linear from 100 right down to 0.
Yeah.
And at 2%, it still has the same performance as it does at 100%.
Oh, there's no fall off.
So there's no fall off. So you can still pump at full speed, and the battery will discharge at the same rate no matter what percentage you are. So
is there an estimated battery life in charge cycles or pump hours or?
It's a different style battery pack. They say indefinite, which I don't know if that's really true ever. Nothing lasts forever. But they expect the battery packs to last the life of the pump, and guys are using these pumps for 15 to 20 years.
Wow.
So your charger, does it have a trickle feature, so it does say you're 100%, you're still plugged in? Will it just kind of maintain and trickle?
Yeah, so the software that controls the charging will maintain it at 100% if it's plugged in and you have more power available than you're using. But if you're pumping at full speed, this won't keep up to full speed pumping, and then it'll draw down slowly, and then when you stop pumping, it'll continue to build back up.
Okay, I'm saying, like, if you back into the shop, you plug it in, go home for the night.
Oh, it shuts off automatically when it's full.
Okay.
So it's a completely automated system, the same as what you would find on an electric car.
Okay.
So you can plug it in, walk away, you come back the next morning, it may have already been fully charged for 6, 7, 8 hours. The light just goes from flashing green to full green, and it goes to 100% battery state of charge on the control software.
Speaking of full volume, what is the volume output on this compared to the diesel powered version?
It's about the same. I think we're just under 50 cubic meters an hour. The electric pump is slightly lower pressure pump kit. So we're 70 bar, so 1100 PSI on a 1005. This is 55 bar maximum pressure.
Okay, so about 900 PSI or something like that, which is plenty for your conventional work.
Yeah.
Now, is there anything in the works for a shotcrete version in the future, possibly like a higher pressure version?
Not that I know of, but the only changes that would need to happen are to the flat pack itself.
Okay.
So if we wanted to go to a higher pressure pump kit, we could do that just hydraulically on the drive cylinders and not change anything else.
And the only downfall would be reduced battery life?
Yeah, it's power consumption. So the higher the pressure is that you're pumping at the same flow rate, your energy consumption goes up.
Right, okay.
So, you need to think of this pump kind of like an electric car, where an electric car is not for everyone, but for 80 or 90% of people, it does the job almost all the time. So if you're a high volume, high usage user that runs your trailer pumps for 12 hours a day, doing 200-yard floors, this isn't the pump for you. But our average pump user pumps 20 cubic meters, 30 cubic meters once or twice a day, and then they go home. This is the exact machine that'll get the job done.
Yeah, it's a beautiful unit. And it looks very, very simple. Like when you hear electric or battery powered, us pumpers, old school pumpers, get kind of scared and skittish, but it looks very, like, would you say it's almost more simple than a diesel powered version, really?
Well, there's...
Other than the batteries,
I'm going to say there's less to go wrong. Like, the electric motors are super robust, and you're not going to have particulate filter and DEF issues. There is some battery temperature degradation degradation at low temperatures, but as you use the batteries, they warm up, and we've noticed very little battery life difference between -8 Celsius and +10.
Yeah, because you guys tested this in cold Toronto temperatures.
Yeah, it was a cold snap at the beginning of December, so we were -5 to -10 the whole time we used it. We left it outside overnight. We charged it in the morning. We tried a bunch of different things, and it didn't really seem to affect anything. The other nice thing about these batteries is they don't need any cooling. So these batteries don't overheat under full load use by this pump. So there is no cooling. They're just in an aluminum enclosure, and just ambient air that circulates around them is enough to keep them cool to the touch all the time.
One thing Jeff noticed is mud cups to get at them if you needed to. It looks really awkward.
I'm sure there's a plan for it. If we open the hatch on the other side,
there's more room than this side.
I'm sure we can get at it.
Yeah, it's just locked.
So, if nothing else, I mean, remember this is a prototype.
Yeah.
So
I think it's more accessible than the cups on our diesel powered 105 because the hydraulic pump isn't overhanging the water box.
Oh, okay.
Like from this side, it looks bad, but if we were to pop that other side open, I don't know. I think there's pretty decent access.
I think there's a key here for that other side to open it. No, there's not.
But yeah, you can see in there from the other side. It'd be far more accessible. What is this large? That's
the main
tube.
Suction hose going into the main pump.
Oh, okay.
So it's,
so to move that,
yeah,
to access the cups, it's not like a high pressure line or anything. It means you have to pop it off.
That's a low pressure line.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but if you do pop it off, we don't have a shut off here that I can tell. So you'll have to drain your tank.
So yeah, so you wouldn't want to come in from the other side.
You change the mud cups from the other side. Yeah.
Yeah, no, she's a beauty. It looks very, very well thought out. And when are these available on the market?
We think probably 2026. Because it's a prototype, you have to go through sourcing and pricing, and we don't even know what it's going to cost yet. The first step was to prove that we could build something that was going to be useful, usable, and reliable. And then the next step is seeing, what is the market for it. There's definitely a market for it. At what price point, we don't know yet.
Do you anticipate that it will be more costly than a diesel-powered version?
Right now, for sure.
It will. Okay.
We don't know how much more. Not double, but not the same. So somewhere in between there.
Oh, well, there we go. It's quite the range.
Yeah, she needs to spend about 3 or 4 months with you to work all the kinks out.
Oh, in Vancouver?
Oh,
they would love this in Vancouver.
Yeah.
Being the eco-friendly city that we are, 100%. I could park it at my place and charge it off the patio.
Right.
Or just unplug my dryer.
Or just move your wife's car.
I actually have an electric charging station in my parking spot now.
Maybe we can put a plug on the machine and you can plug your home stuff into it.
100. Yeah, there we go. Now we're talking. You can do it with the Ford Lightning. Why not with the Putzmeister iONTRON, right? So
110 for a coffee maker. That way you're not doing it by the shitter.
Microwave, 100%. Now we got the pumper's attention. That's great. Well, thanks for the walkthrough, Eric. It looks very promising. Cutting edge technology. And you'll be at the Canadian Concrete Expo in a couple weeks in Toronto?
Yeah, Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day. I'm going too. My wife's super happy about it. We got important business. That'll be another YouTube video in the future. So thanks for your time, Eric. Appreciate it.